Good morning, guys. Welcome back. It's 6:30 in the morning here in this beautiful place, and what a great time to talk to you guys about a relevant topic, with a hot topic at the moment, which is a certain person's arrest. I'm not going to get into details here to not get this video flagged. You know who I'm talking about. And the bigger topic of critical thinking, okay? Because I see the topic of critical thinking endangered. I see the topic of critical thinking endangered, and I see it as a necessity to talk about this because a lot of people out there, from what I can see, they are blinded by their emotions. They are blinded by trying to, at any cost, reach a certain outcome, and this is very, very dangerous. You see, from my background, I can tell you two things. First of all, as an entrepreneur, I can speak freely, which is very nice and which I appreciate a lot. So I don't have a boss saying, for example, okay, you can believe this, you can talk about this. I can do what I want and say what I want. And yeah, you might lose a client here or there, right? If it comes down to it, but it's not going to be a huge impact on my life or on my business. So that's what I value. The second thing is from my legal background, I like looking at facts, right? I like looking at things rationally, unemotionally. That's the way it should be. That's the way judicial systems are set up as they are, because when you're in court, you don't want somebody sitting there who's super emotional, right? And getting the wrong side of him, leading up to maybe you getting a different sentence or getting a sentence at all, right? Might be innocent. So from these two perspectives, looking at what's happening at the moment, you see a lot of people out there, because the person was arrested, pushed a lot of buttons and talked about a lot of emotional topics which are not feeding into the mainstream narrative of where society is going. They're so emotional that they cannot separate these things. So what they do is they say, look, I don't care if a person is innocent or not innocent. I don't care about facts. This person is guilty. And that's crazy if you think about it. Like literally, that is the definition of being absolutely crazy, of saying on the one hand, I like to live in a democracy, you know, I like a state, I like a judicial system which works. But on the other hand, not having the ability to think critically. I mean, I see where it's coming from and I understand it, because where it's coming from for most people is social pressure. Okay, nowadays we live in a society where there's extreme social pressure, and the social pressure leads to you just complying with whatever bullshit you're told, right? So if you look at a lot of stuff which came out within the last years, okay, where people were at the beginning saying this is only a theory, you know, you cannot say this is true, and if you were to think that it was true, they'd probably say you're kind of crazy. Okay, you can't be trusted, you can't be believed, you're outside. Okay, you're not part of this sane part of society anymore. Well, then the crazy thing is, a lot of stuff came out about certain islands and stuff, which is true. Okay, where people, before it was proven that it's true, where people would have, who believed in this, would have said that, you would have said they are absolutely crazy, right? They would have been socially punished for their beliefs. And you see this in a lot of different spaces, and it goes so far that even I, who I don't really care about what people think and say, I do these videos anyways, and believe what I believe and talk about what I talk about, even I think about, hey, can I say this? Can I say that? Can I name this person? Can I name that fact? And that's pretty crazy, because that's not how society should be. You should be free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And as Jordan Peterson always puts it, at the risk of hurting people emotionally, right? Not physically, but hurting people emotionally, because obviously you are going to disagree with them. And if that disagreement to them means that they are hurt by this, well, then that's the price we have to pay. Because at the point where we stop talking about things and stop questioning things, or are not allowed to talk about things anymore, that's where freedom of speech goes missing. And I'm saying this as a person who grew up in German. I am partly German from my heritage, and I feel German. We have learned lessons the hard way. Okay, you do not want to mess with your fundamental rights. You do not want to mess with your freedom of speech and other things. if you do, right, this can be turned against you, and it most likely will be turned against you at some point, because at some point governments change, people in charge change, and they can misuse rules which are put up. So what I want to tell you today, or what I want to ask of you today, is please to use your critical thinking and to start looking at facts and putting your emotions aside, right? Stop only being like, I want this outcome, or I feel this is right, but look at the facts. And if there are no facts, then don't make a conclusion, okay? At least don't make a conclusion which is detrimental to another person, Then at least give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Because fortunately, our systems are built up that you are innocent until proven guilty, right? And ask yourself, if you were in a certain situation, if everything turned against you and what you're believing at the moment was suddenly not true anymore, not representable anymore, how would you feel? You don't want to be in that situation. I can tell you that, right? It is a very bad situation to be in, and maybe there's some truth to it, and that will come out. But from what I see, from the facts that I see at the moment, I will be very, very critical of what I read and what I think in the subject, because there's a narrative displayed here. There's a narrative pushed here, which, if you look at it critically, like I'm saying, if you look at facts, it adds up, right? It's just a puzzle. So keep looking out for the relevant information. Put it together. Don't only consume one side of the information you get out there. And you will see that your critical and free thinking is one of the most valuable things you can have.